here on the hill. Game day coming up. You know the vibes. About to get this dub. Let's get it.
What's going on? It's Drew Edwards here. We're in enemy territory over here in Western Kentucky with the tops. I don't know if the hilltop, I don't know what it is, but it's a big game for us. We need to get this W. Go Niners.
This is CBS Sports Network on Facebook Watch. After a week off, first game of bonus play for both Western Kentucky and Charlotte in Group 1. The top 5 teams all play each other over the last 4 games of the season, and we've already seen a bit of an upset today. Louisiana Tech knocking off North Texas. That means a Western Kentucky win puts them in first place with 3 games to go. The top 4 seeds get byes in the Conference USA tournament. With Mike O'Donnell, I'm Chris Hassel. Mike, we have a very unique presentation today on Facebook Watch. Tell us what we're going to be able to see.
Well, this game, we're really going to focus on the players' perspective, not just interviews from players, but you and I are going to have multiple conversations about what goes on in the huddle, on the bench, pre-game, halftime, all those types of conversations, kind of inside basketball talk this afternoon. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And on Facebook, we do not have commercial breaks, so we are going to be here for you all evening long. Talk to us live, join that conversation, and use that hashtag 49ersVSTops when you send us your photos and videos. You might be featured on air. If you don't want any of that, just go ahead and swipe right to remove those comments and reactions on your mobile device. Should be a good matchup between these two teams. They did play earlier on this season. Western Kentucky did win on this floor. We say it a lot, contrasting styles. We really mean it in this game.
There's no question. Charlotte is that gritty pack line defense. Think of their Virginia of Conference USA. With Western Kentucky, with Bassie out, they had to adjust and change. Ultimately, it came down to they want to press up-tempo, fast, make the game really chaotic. 2 contrasting styles.
Tavion Hollingsworth had a huge game in that first matchup about a month ago. Western Kentucky was down 9. Hollingsworth led him back with 30 points.
Totally took over that game, and it wasn't just jump shots for Hollingsworth. He was 13 of 13 from the free throw line that game. Remember, with Bassie out, it's 5 out on the perimeter offensively for Western Kentucky, and you can't guard Hollingsworth one-on-one.
These are the 3 guys that have really stepped up to fill the void in Charles Bassie's absence. Jared Savage is shooting over 50% from three-point range over his last 8 games. Really has upped the rebounding numbers. Over his last 6 games, he's averaging over 11 rebounds per game. He spoke with the 3rd member of our crew, Ashley Holder, moments ago.
All right, Jared, we've heard a lot about this outside dog mentality. How do you feel like that mentality has helped you guys get to where you are today?
We need a little extra motivation when Charles went down. I mean, it took a blow to the team, and just that dog mentality brings us all together in that locker room.
What needs to happen tonight for you guys to walk out of here with the W?
I mean, we've been talking about it all week, really. Win 4 games in a row, and we're regular season champions. So that's what we want to do, and it starts tonight.
All right, thanks and good luck.
Thank you.
Jared Savage is a transfer from Austin Peay. Charlotte has a bunch of transfers and newcomers as well. 4 of their starting 5, Mike, are first-year players in this program.
Jameer Young is really, really good. He's got a potential to be an all-time great at Charlotte. Keep an eye out for Bamba in this game. With Charles Bassie out, about 6'10", really long, athletic post player. Could have a big night for Charlotte if they look inside early and often.
The name of the game is the pack line defense. Show us how it's done.
Well, ultimately it comes down to one player's on the ball at all times, and then the next player doesn't deny the pass, sits in the gap, and there's extra help, a good hard closeout, another sit in the gap. What the pack line defense does, it eliminates the three-point shot, and it makes you take really, really tough shots around the rim.
Can Charlotte limit Tavion Hollingsworth to fewer than 15 points? That's his season average, 15. Vote yes or no, and keep in mind he had 23 last time out and 30 in the last matchup between these two teams. Drew Edwards is one of the guys that's going to draw that Hollingsworth assignment. He spoke with our Ashley Holder.
All right, Drew, how have you guys been able to come together so quickly with all these new faces on this team, with the transfers like yourself, all while trying to turn this program around?
Well, that's really something we emphasize. Coach really said it's new for all of us. This is their second year. It's our first year, or my first year, and a couple other guys' first year. So it's really a testament to everybody we have in the program, just being able to accept it. And we spend so much time with each other throughout this year. We're here with each other every single day. So it feels like we're family together now, and so much. So it just takes time and comes along throughout the year. Hopefully we get better.
It's a big game tonight. What are the keys tonight to walk out with the win?
Our biggest focus is on us. Play our game, stop them in transition, focus on a couple of their key guys. They've stretched five, point guard's really good. But our focus is on us. Play our pack line defense and go from there.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Ashley. Ron Sanchez, the head coach of the Charlotte 49ers in his second season, brought that pack line defense from Virginia. He was Tony Bennett's top assistant there, was with him for a dozen seasons. Western Kentucky, only 6 contributors. These 5 will start. Cameron Justice will come off the bench. And for Charlotte, we mentioned Jahmir Young, the great true freshman. Rick Stansbury, one of the best coaching jobs he has done at Western Kentucky. A win tonight, even though it's the first of bonus play, would guarantee a bye for Western Kentucky. It would also move them into a tie for first place with North Texas. And what a job Ron Sanchez has done at Charlotte this season. 14-11. They've already equaled their win total from the previous 2 seasons combined. Won 8 last year, 6 the year before. Expect Charlotte to win the tip. Amadou Bamba, 19 wins. Carson Williams, just 3. And Charlotte does win. They are 1-14 all time here at Western Kentucky. They led by 9 in the first half of the first matchup and ended up getting blown out. That'll do. Jahmir Young scoring it 10 seconds in.
Pack line defense for Charlotte, but a lot of Princeton wheel action in the half court for Charlotte offensively.
Josh Anderson had to pick up the dribble. 15 on the shot clock. Here's Hollingsworth, who had 30 in that first matchup. 13 of 13 from the line in that game. He's being hounded. Great defense so far. Hollingsworth's got to do something. Tries to draw the foul. That is absolutely picture perfect pack line defense.
There's no question, but in the ball screen, it looks like that Charlotte might be trying to double Hollingsworth. As you see that backdoor cut, there's going to be a lot of back screens and flare screens in Charlotte's offense. Western Kentucky's going to have to fight over those screens and communicate.
And Western Kentucky nearly forces a turnover. The fans thought it was out of bounds. Instead, Charlotte's going to get, I thought it would be an easy bucket, but a blown stuff from Amadou Bamba. Carson Williams had it slip through his finger, and it's Charlotte basketball.
It was pretty good offense by Charlotte initially. A good dump down pass to Bamba. Big fella, right? You got to finish that.
Got to be stronger with it. And tell us about this pressure that we're going to see from Western Kentucky tonight.
It's an adjustment made after Charles Bassey went down with a season-ending injury. Coach Stansbury's not necessarily trying to get a steal. He's trying to muddy up the waters of the game. He's trying to make the game chaotic. He feels that that will help keep Western Kentucky out of foul trouble and eliminate some of the rebounding on the inside, because teams are trying to pound on the inside due to lack of size.
Young misses that. Savage the rebound. Last 6 games or so, he's averaging north of 11 rebounds per game. They are pressuring way out high, and now Williams double team. Shot clock under 10 once again. Williams gets the dump.
Great help defense.
Yeah,
wow.
got cut off. Young got it blocked, but that's a goaltend. Hit the glass first. And Charlotte off to a fast start offensively and defensively.
Well, Young with the little Euro step, and that's a pretty easy call for the referee. We got a turnover here with Charlotte.
Yeah, picked it off at midcourt, Mike. This defense really causing issues for Western Kentucky in the early going.
Even though Charlotte doesn't necessarily full court pressure you, they have 3 players in the top 10 in Conference USA in steals per game. They are active with their hands.
Drew Edwards left his feet.
Nice extra pass.
Jordan Shepard off the mark.
So far, Charlotte getting a really lot of good looks in the half court.
Well, they've already forced 4 Western Kentucky turnovers. 4 on their first 4 possessions. Sloppy start after a week off of much needed rest for this much maligned Western Kentucky lineup. That one taken away. 5 possessions, 5 turnovers, great passing. Edwards lays it in. 6-0 49ers.
I know you like old school basketball, Chris Hass. A little give and go in the full court. That was picture perfect execution.
And these fans here at Diddle Arena urging this team on.
And keep an eye out. Anytime Hollingsworth has the ball and he goes into a ball screen, Charlotte's almost doubling with their big man.
Savage had the offensive rebound ripped away from him by Malik Martin. Euro step and a missed opportunity for Charlotte to go up 8. Anderson lays it in, plus the foul.
And if you're Charlotte, that's why you don't need quick shots in transition. Coach Sanchez right now is talking to his players and saying, look, slow down. We need to run our offense, our continuity, because we don't want to get into a track meet with Western Kentucky. That's exactly the way that Western Kentucky is winning games here with Charles Bassial. Fast, up-tempo, pushing in transition.
And they usually don't turn the ball over very much at all. 6 turnovers already in the first 4 minutes of this game. 2 weeks ago, I was here for the Southern Miss game. The Western Kentucky won by 3. They had 3 turnovers the entire game.
They want quick shots, which eliminates turnovers. They want to press and get easy buckets. That eliminates other turnover opportunities for Western Kentucky.
Great spin move by the Oklahoma transfer, Jordan Shepard. And another turnover, but a whistle. And a late foul call right as Shepard was about to head the other way with it. That would have been the 7th turnover of the game for Western Kentucky as we reach our first media timeout. 8-2, Charlotte 49ers, just like they did in the first meeting here, jumping all over the Hilltoppers.
You know, you gotta love the pace. I think just from a casual viewer standpoint, this is a really fun pace to watch. Western Kentucky, they have to figure out ways to get in a transition more. If you're Charlotte, playing pretty good, right? Your pack line half-court defense is great. You don't need to force a shot early in transition because clearly Western Kentucky is not guarding well late in the shot clock.
Want to remind you that you can turn off the comments at the bottom of the screen by swiping right on your mobile device. 8-2 Charlotte, 15:58 to go here in the first half. And some more player perspective. We're going to get a lot of this tonight. It's a player perspective broadcast. Jordan Savage, the first of many buckets, grew up a Michael Jordan fan. Couple seasons at Austin Peay. Helped the Governors win the OVC Tournament Championship. Conference USA Player of the Week after averaging 19 points, 12.5 rebounds a game. The most consistent shooter on this team. And Ashley, he calls himself and his teammates an outside dog. They are not built for the indoors.
No, not at all. And Savage has said it already that they're not the biggest team, and they're actually not the scariest team when they get off of the bus, but it's that outside dog mentality that really has got them to where they are today. And actually, Jared Savage, the one that came up with that nice little nickname talking about being an outside dog, it's because of the last 2 games, WKU out-rebounded their opponents 37-34, posting game-high rebounds, including Savage, who grabbed 16 against UTSA. Now, I spoke to Savage at practice yesterday, and he told me it's not about the size of the heart, but the fight in the dog. The Hilltoppers actually like to be underestimated. They prefer it that way, and we've seen that as their last couple of games have come down to the final seconds. Chris?
He played all 45 minutes of that overtime win at UTSA a week ago. 24 points, 16 rebounds, but he has 2 early turnovers, 2 of the 6 in the first 4+ minutes for the Hilltoppers.
Yeah, not even 5 full minutes of game action and already 6 turnovers. You got to remember, this is a Charlotte team that doesn't full court press. They're just in the gaps with active hands. And when you're sloppy against Charlotte, they will make you pay. This is a committed, young, defensive squad for Charlotte that's only getting better as the season is progressing.
Well, Western Kentucky has the basketball, 26 on the shot clock after the timeout, and the inbounds to Tavion Hollingsworth, who will set things up. Still haven't seen Cameron Justice, who begins the game on the bench, their 6th man.
Williams trying to drive, spins. He's got great footwork and puts it in.
When you need a bucket, you go to Williams. They ran Coach Stansbury ran an isolation play for him on the right wing to just make a play. He has been great in the absence of Charles Bassey. Gonna have to guard a lot of flare screen action, a lot of pick away, backdoor cut. They want to run to the end of the shot clock.
Young gets it poked away, Rawls the steal. Ahead to Hollingsworth at the bucket. Can't get the bounce, but we'll get a couple of free throws. Mike, what are your keys to the game?
Well, for Charlotte, you've got to be ready for the fast break. You know that Western Kentucky wants to get out and run. You got to sprint back and talk and transition D. Got to win the battle of the boards. You can. You've got more size, physical play on the interior. For Western Kentucky, you also need to get out and run. That's your bread and butter. You know, if you can get out and run in transition, limit turnovers, you're going to be just fine this game. So far, they've been running, but they've been turning the ball over. 1 for 2 for Western Kentucky.
There's Cooper Robb checking in for Charlotte. He is a Kentucky native. Finalist for Kentucky Mr. Basketball a couple of years ago.
Robb's 4th in Conference USA and steals per game. Probably the toughest player pound for pound for Charlotte 49ers. Cooper Robb.
In high school, he played football and baseball to go along with basketball. Just an athlete as he gets that one poked by Anderson. They get it across the timeline.
And you're at 20 seconds on the shot clock. Again, the press isn't necessarily designed to get a steal. It's to really kind of frustrate the opponent. Once you get across half court, you've got limited time to work with in the half court.
Ticking down to 6 on the shot clock. Edwards gets the screen. Young's got a launch. He hits.
The freshman, just ice water's been making plays like that all season long for the 49ers.
7-time CUSA Freshman of the Week. He will likely be the Conference USA Freshman of the Year.
Yes, 6th player ever in Conference USA history to win that award 7 times. Pretty incredible.
Rolls to the bucket, missed the lay-in.
I think Rawls was shocked that there was no help side defense. That was actually the worst defensive possession for Charlotte.
Look out, Anderson can stuff it with the best of them.
That may look easy. I assure you, there's not many players that can just sky like Anderson.
Beat the pressure. And now set up the half-court offense. Rick Stansbury was telling us before the game he doesn't want to have to deal with this half-court offense for too long because he doesn't feel like his guys will be able to defend it that well. And you see it right there. Milos Supica with the easy bucket, and Charlotte's up 5 again.
So much of Charlotte's offense runs through the high post. Western Kentucky's going to have to do a better job denying that pass at the high post.
Hollingsworth in the paint. Gets the roll.
Can't just guard Hollingsworth with one player. It takes multiple defenders to slow him down. He's shifty. He's got this old school game that he's great at finding any crease in the defense to exploit.
Here's a 3-point attempt from Martin off the mark. Hollingsworth rips down the rebound. Anderson just patiently getting inside, but there's Martin with the block. Now into the half-court set again, which you liken, Mike, to the old Princeton offense.
It's high post, 5 out, so much runs through the big man. You've got to have a good passer, big man. That's a traveler.
Yeah, it looked like he lost control of that ball as he was about to dribble it and then got caught with too many steps.
It was pretty good action for Charlotte. You got a lot of movement for Western Kentucky. The lane's wide open, but just bobbled it, is unable to come down 2 hands, 2 feet.
Supica, a junior from Belgrade, Serbia. He takes a seat on the bench after that turnover.
Superga was a top 25 recruit coming out of the state of North Carolina. That was a really good get for Charlotte. Proven to be a very effective front court player for the 49ers.
They're doing a good job in North Carolina in their home state this season. Beat Wake Forest out of the ACC, beat Davidson out of the A10. Ashley says go Tops from Jessup, Maryland. As we hit the under 12 timeout, Charlotte leading 13-10 thanks to 6 forced turnovers, though Western Kentucky made it through that entire section, that 4-minute section, without a turnover. Jordan Shepard, one of the stars on this 49er team. He started his career at Oklahoma, played with Trae Young, backed up the NBA star during his time there at OU, made the tournament, then transferred to Charlotte, had to sit out last season, and that is his mentor, Pacer guard Malcolm Brogdon, who played at Virginia for Ron Sanchez when he was an assistant there. And some more on the player perspective. His nickname's Shep. He's going with the Kyrie sneakers. He likes to describe his game as smooth. And I don't know, have you heard the Summer Walker?
Well, that's what you were rocking out to in pregame to get hyped for the game. I'm a big Kyrie fly trap shoe fan as well. I mean, you talk about Shepard again, though. You know, when he saw some minutes in the NCAA tournament at Oklahoma, it's a 3-star recruit. You know, but another North Carolina kid. You know, it's great to see Charlotte get those North Carolina kids.
Well, they also like a Maryland kid by the name of Jameer Young, averaging 13 points a game, leads the team in rebounds, a true freshman. They did not expect him to be this good this early, did they?
No, I mean, we mentioned it earlier, a 7-time Conference USA Player of the Week. There's only 6 other players that have ever been able to earn that award 7 times. He's been fantastic. Coming out of high school, he was one of the top 10 seniors in the state of Maryland, played at DeMatha Catholic. That DeMatha is a big-time high school program, one of the best high school programs in the country. He also played for Team Takeover, who won the Peach Jam in high school. This is an elite player who was really kind of known as a blue-collar type player in AAU in high school, and those are the type of guys that Coach Sanchez loves. He's a team-first, blue-collar type scorer that we just haven't seen from Charlotte in a long time. He was tailor-made for a Ron Sanchez team.
When we asked him about Young, he brought up 2 other players that he's had in the past, Joe Harris and Klay Thompson. It's great company to be in. Cameron Justice into the game for the first time and immediately on the deck, drawing the foul. He's been dealing with a bulging disc issue, had an epidural a couple of weeks ago, and he's been much better since. They need him because they're already one of the thinnest teams in the country.
I think we use this phrase a lot, but he is the X factor for the Hilltoppers. When he's making threes, it takes so much pressure off of Hollingsworth, Savage, Anderson, Williams. It really extends the floor and changes their offense completely when he's making threes. And he was one of the great three-point shooters coming out of Kentucky high school basketball. Elite scorer.
Wearing that now famous number 5 Ty Rogers jersey for Western Kentucky.
I played against Ty Rogers. That kid was the truth. Impossible to guard him and Courtney Lee.
And now a folk hero after hitting that NCAA tournament buzzer beater against Drake about a decade ago. Bamba!
There's a great screen by Jameer Young as well. That's that offense. You're going to have everybody's a screener, everybody's a cutter in this offense. You're either back screening or you're cutting to the rim. Some of that Princeton wheel motion action that we saw.
The pass tipped out of bounds. Western Kentucky will keep it with 16 on the shot clock. Take a look at that screen from Young.
That's what you got to do when you're a young player. You got to get in there and bump, be physical. I'm telling you right now, all you shooters out there listening, all you young shooters, if you become a great screener, you're going to get open shots. Get your big guys involved early. The threes will come later in the game.
Shot clock to 6. Justice to Hollingsworth, guarded by Young. Hollingsworth gets to the hoop. Oh, man, how about the English on that?
How does he do that? He got from the three-point line to the rim in 2 seconds and got that shot off. Incredible.
Western Kentucky within 1. That one swatted by Savage. Savage tried to get it a second time, but this time Drew Edwards puts it in.
How about the resiliency by Drew Edwards to stay in attack mode? Woo.
Savage got it poked away, stolen by Bryce Williams. He gets it stripped away, rolls with another steal. Justice transition 3 off the mark. Savage tipped it, but he went over the back, and a foul on Jared Savage.
It's a pretty fun pace right there.
I was going to say,
Hassel.
good pace to this game. This is a fun one to watch if you're a college basketball fan.
Well, Western Kentucky loves the pace. Charlotte does not like the. They do not want to get up and down and run. That's the. It may seem like fool's gold, a semi-transition play. You think you've got a semi-wide open layup. If you're unsure, pull the ball back out and run your offense, because Western Kentucky hasn't proved so far they can guard for an extended period in the half court.
Williams the steal. He takes it all the way. Missed it. And a rebound, Bamba. Charlotte's running again, Mike. Bounce to Young. He gets it blocked by Savage and gets it back. Shepard. Yes, and a foul.
This feels like a middleweight boxing match where each team's just trying to throw haymakers early in the first half. Right there, Young should have actually finished with his left hand. That would have been an easier layup opportunity. He tried to go up and under. Jordan Shepard, did you see how he lowered his shoulder and went straight to the rim? Players don't do that enough. Love that.
That's a big foul on Savage, number 2. And the three-point play completed. Charlotte has led the whole way.
If there's any team in the country that can't get in foul trouble, it's Western Kentucky. They are thin. They are not deep. This is a team that cannot afford to be in foul trouble. They really only play 6 players consistently.
Justice camping out in the corner. Short on that 3. Young got popped in the face. Anderson, it'll stay with Charlotte. Let's check in with Ashley Holder with more on how thin the Hilltoppers are this season.
Yeah, guys, it's no surprise that WKU struggles with the lack of depth, but it doesn't stop them from pushing the tempo, as you can see, and playing fast. Now, Savage with 2 fouls, but I did ask Coach Stansbury, how do you adjust to that? He said it's simple. We find ways to get through. Find ways to get through. You have to adapt to it. It's easy because they don't have a choice. There's no margin for error. They actually only play about 6 guys, and Coach said the next guy he would trust would be Isaiah Kozar, and he only averages about 3 to 3.5 minutes, Chris.
Yeah, they really are just a 6-man team at this point, with the injury to Bassie and Kenny Cooper, the transfer, who is still unavailable until next season. Williams cutting inside, got bumped before he got the shot off.
That was a defensive breakdown by Charlotte. They had done a really nice job on the ball screen guarding Hollingsworth, particularly with a hard hedge. It almost disguised it like a double team. There was late help by Robb underneath the baseline.
And that's 2 on Cooper Robb. So Jared Savage, who just took a seat, and Cooper Robb with 2 fouls.
You never feel like you're out of the game when you have a player like Hollingsworth on your team, because not just can he make plays that make you go, wow, he's going to make the smart play as well.
And he's been a closer for this team.
Absolutely.
Great closing stretches against Old Dominion and last game against UTSA. Williams got bumped from behind, no foul. But Hollingsworth able to get it, go baseline and reverse.
It's not just after makes. Western Kentucky's going to want to push 94 feet even after misses. And when Hollingsworth gets a steal, how about a little spin cycle on Supica? Man, that's tough.
That was like the reverse of the Michael Jordan baseline move against the Knicks a generation ago. Now, he didn't stuff it, but looked just like it.
I think Hollingsworth will take any time that CBS will compare him to Michael Jordan, so I think he'll take that.
Mark the tape. Converts the three-point play, and we've got a three-point game.
Three-quarter court pressure for Western Kentucky, designed to just slow Charlotte down.
Just looking to muck it up a little bit. Maybe force some bad decisions. Martin.
Nice kick.
Williams missing. Justice was able to tip it to Rawls. Anderson baseline. Missed it. You see some comments floating on your screen. Again, if you don't want the comments in front of you, swipe right like Josh Anderson just tried to do. Cameron Justice draws that charge. And that is 2 fouls on Jahmir Young. So 3 players now with a couple of fouls. You see Hollingsworth might take a seat. Good defense from Justice.
It's great. I mean, we've been saying good defense for Justice for a long time. I mean, he doesn't always get enough credit for how efficient and sound he is defensively in the half court.
Number 10, Jeremiah Gambrell, into the game for the first time for Western Kentucky. And he sees spot minutes. Anderson, that's not his shot. He's not a three-point shooter. 27% on the season. And Charlotte will let him hoist all night from out there.
It's part of the scatter report, right? You're going up on certain guys. You don't want certain players to shoot threes. You're letting other players shoot open threes. With the pack line defense, you're open for rebounding.
Great cut to the hoop, and Milos Supica gives Charlotte a 5-point lead.
And I got to tell you, the aggressiveness attacking the rim for Charlotte is impressive.
Well, this Charlotte team came in losers of 2 straight. They lost a couple games in Texas last week, by 9 at North Texas and by 14 at Rice. Well, the rest might be doing them good.
You can't be satisfied against Western Kentucky, though. They have had multiple double-digit deficits coming out of halftime throughout the course of the season.
4 times they've come from double digits down to win in conference play, and they came from 9 down against Charlotte to win about a month ago. So this is a player perspective broadcast here on Facebook Watch tonight. We spent some time earlier in the day picking Mike O'Donnell's mind, 4-year player in major Division I college basketball, and what it's like in different situations. Take a look.
So now we're at the bench. Mike O'Donnell gets subbed out. Come have a seat, young man. You sit down. You're not just daydreaming, are you?
Absolutely not. Now, average players daydream, but guys that are really locked in, really great players, when they get subbed out, one of the things to stay locked in the game is you always want to understand what the scatter report is happening. So if you stay locked in on a defensive coverage for the opposing team, when you get subbed back in, it's not like you're entering a different world. Mentally, you stay locked in. You want to be as vocal as possible. You want to be as energetic as possible. I always loved to stand up and cheer or yell as much as I could, because the more that I sat down, I felt I was getting tight. I have a 95-year-old body, so I would get tight really quick. But a lot of guys, the more you stand up, you kind of stay into a rhythm of the game because you don't want to lose that sweat. Some guy, I mean, a lot of times I put icy hot on the knees. Sometimes I'd hop on the bike. I'm a big water guy. I felt like if you drank too much Gatorade or Powerade, and that kind of gave me a little cramp. So I was always a big water guy on the bench too.
This is Jared Savage going to the bench earlier with 2 fouls. A little point to the end of the bench, a little high five. He's got the towel there. What do you think of his bench demeanor so far? He probably got a little water, or is that Powerade?
No, I'm probably thinking water right there. I wasn't a real big towel guy. I wanted the sweat dripping off my face. You know, I never felt like if I was dry, it meant that I was coming out of the game completely. I'd like the sweat dripping down my face, Hassel.
So you're not a headband guy?
No. I had to wear it one time for one season in high school because my hair was so long that I had to wear the headband. Couldn't afford not to. I looked like a really bad backup singer for the Beatles.
I would love to see a picture of that. There's Savage getting a little bit more liquid nourishment. He's on the bench with 2 fouls, and a couple of 49ers with 2 fouls in this game as well.
Not enough ball movement for Western Kentucky so far in this game. Only 1 assist to 7 turnovers in the first half so far for the Hilltoppers. They have to do a better job of getting more flow and continuity in the half court.
You saw Jameer Young on the bench, one of those two 49ers with a pair of fouls. Cooper Robb also with 2 fouls. He's out there right now wearing number 10. Supika going to work on Williams. He's got the size advantage at 6'9" and went right over the top.
And the pump fake work. That was really good patience by Supika on the low block.
Western Kentucky is small. Carson Williams, really the tallest player who contributes for this team at 6'5".
But Carson Williams doesn't play small. He's so physical, aggressive, and energetic, making plays like that. I don't really put a lot of faith in the fact that we think Carson Williams is going to be good post defender because of how active and aggressive he is.
And he is strong, tough to move around as well. Western Kentucky turned the ball over 6 times in the first 4.5 minutes of this game, but they've only turned it over once since then. Still find themselves trailing. Robb, a step back 2. He hit the deck as Anderson grabs the rebound.
So where does the scoring come from with Hollingsworth on the bench?
And Savage as well. Gambrell never shy. Williams among 2 green shirts, pulls it down, muscles through, and yes! Did Anderson tip that or did that go in?
I think they're giving it to it. That is the bruiser mentality for Carson Williams, just making plays. You call him small. I think he plays big, Hassel.
I said he's the smallest Western Kentucky player, or smallest big man out there on the court. 6'5", not very tall if you're playing inside, but Carson Williams does a great job. Robb answers in his home state.
Better close out on Robb. He's a 46% three-point shooter. That's virtually automatic in college basketball. When Charlotte's locked in, it's impressive to watch their ball screen defense. Here's a hedge, extra help, close out in the corner, more help.
Anderson with the tip. Use that great vertical leap to tip that in. We have a whistle.
That's a dead ball warning for Western Kentucky for Anderson slapping the ball down on the ground. He could have gotten a technical foul for that. It was really great defense up until no box out. I mean, you can't jump with Anderson. You got to find him, engage physically, and box him out. You are not getting a rebound over Anderson, one of the great athletes in college basketball.
Shepherd
Nice
the bounce to Bamba. Two-handed stuff. Hollingsworth's back out there. Rawls launches short. Edwards the board. Here come the 49ers.
Good decision by Shepherd. Didn't have anything initially. You're fine pushing it. Then you pull it back out, run your offense.
Shepherd. Oh, no look pass to Bamba. Second straight flush.
Shepherd with the Jason Kidd no-look dime. He fooled me. I thought he was kicking it out to the wing for a 3. That was big-time vision.
9 assists on 14 made buckets. Western Kentucky with just 2 assists on 9 made buckets.
Shepherd's closing in on 100 assists for the season, too. In case you're wondering, that's a lot of assists.
Justice has to hoist. Western Kentucky still ice cold from distance. 0 for 8 from three-point range. Justice 0 for 4 himself. Charlotte a chance to grab a double-digit lead. Edwards in the corner. That's over the back on Bamba.
Yep. Good box out by Williams.
And that's 2 fouls for Bamba. So a trio of 49ers with 2 fouls. As Western Kentucky dodges that bullet on the missed open look. And Bamba just going over the back. A textbook block out by Carson Williams. But how about Amadou Bamba? I mean, he is just manhandling the rim.
He has a similar body to Azubuike of Kansas. I mean, he's just a big, physical guy. My favorite part about his game is not just his physicality. He has really good hands. He seems to catch everything in his area without bobbling it.
And he's an even better student than he is basketball player. Leads the team in field goal percentage at 64%. Pretty much everything coming inside the paint. But he has a 4.0 GPA in his Masters of Business Administration program.
He's an intern in Northwestern Mutual. I couldn't get an internship at Northwestern Mutual right now. I mean, he's incredibly intelligent. Actually also won a gold medal for the Canadian under-19 national team back in 2017.
Nicknamed Bombeezy.
We talked with Coach Sanchez about Bamba, and he said it's kind of challenging to talk to that, to coach that kind of player, because he's taking so many high-level classes. They're sometimes during practice, or they're during shoot-around, or they're doing film sessions, and he's got to be able to adjust. And a lot of times, Coach Sanchez will say, "I'll walk into a film." And he's already in there reading, studying, preparing for his next exam or part of the internship. Incredibly intelligent. He called him an outstanding human being.
That's the kind of player that you want in your program. The graduate transfer from Coastal Carolina. We've got a couple Conference USA games still to come on Facebook Watch in bonus play. This Charlotte 49er team at home Wednesday, March the 4th against North Texas. And then Western Kentucky is on the road at FIU Saturday, March the 7th at 7 Eastern time. Again, just joining us, North Texas lost in the final seconds at home today against Louisiana Tech. Western Kentucky is now just a half game out of first. A win today, they climb into a first place tie. If they lose, though, Louisiana Tech will be tied for second place with Western Kentucky, and there'll be 3 teams within 1 game at the top with 3 to go. Carson Williams hitting the first free throw. He has 5 points, 3 rebounds, a couple assists in this game.
One thing that Western Kentucky is going to have to figure out in the half court is points in the paint. They're going to have to figure out how to guard the paint. Charlotte has 24 points in the paint. So many of those buckets have come from ball screen action in the half court, where the roll man has been the recipient of a really great pass coming with a guard coming off a ball screen. They're going to have to do a lot better job in ball screen coverage.
At 3, off the mark. Maybe a little bit too early of a shot from Jordan Shepard. Anderson will get right back to the free throw line, and that's what Western Kentucky does better than anybody in the country. Remember to swipe right on your mobile device to turn off the comments if you'd like. That's 3 fouls now on Cooper Robb. Western Kentucky outscoring its opponents each game by over 8 points per game. That is the best number in the country. They've made more than 100 free throws when their opponents have attempted.
And that is Stansberry's calling card since day one. And if you're wondering, oh, they must get fouled a lot. Yes, they get fouled a lot because they're aggressive, but they also shoot 78% as a team. That's absurd.
That is top 10 in the country, 7th in the nation at 78.5%. They're 9 of 10 so far tonight.
And that's one of the reasons why they've been able to come back in so many games, is because in the second half they'll get into attack mode even more. They'll get at the free throw line. They're able to slow down the game. It acts as an additional timeout, and that's great, especially when you have a limited roster. Go to the free throw line, catch your breath, and you have great free throw shooters spread throughout your lineup.
And they also don't commit many fouls. Only committing about 13 fouls per game. That's also top 10 in the nation. And you see they're outscoring Charlotte 9-1 at the line, already outscoring their opponent by 8 in this one, right at their average. Shot clock to 7. Supica, man, he's been a force inside. 8 points, 4 for 4 from the floor because they're all in tight.
How smooth was that? Ripped through from the free throw line, extended.
Hollingsworth. Little Rawls. Rawls a little. Oh, swat. Supica doing it on both ends.
Milo Supica is doing a fantastic job this game on both ends of the floor. You see a great block off dribble penetration on the other end. That catch ripped through from the foul line extended area. Tough move.
Rawls 0 for 3 from the floor. Maybe we should have done a player perspective on wiping up condensation on the court.
No, this is embarrassing. Where is the towel guy? You got to go one knee. You got to lean into it and wipe up the area. Let's see how hard.
They brought out the mop, and now a cheer from the.
You got to dig
fans
in.
in attendance.
You got to dig in. No, you've got to almost kind of crow hop into it. Yeah.
Rawls triggers it in. Hollingsworth. That one was tipped. Hollingsworth thought he got hit. Supica charge.
Oh man, and Hollingsworth took an absolute shot because Supica is a 6'9" beast. Freight train coming through the lane. The toughness for Hollingsworth, taking that in the chest. Gutsy play by the junior.
Supica listed at 230. Hollingsworth listed at 165. He's not a big guy.
Tough as nails.
He's feeling that in his bones tomorrow. Williams has Supica on him. Hands it off to Justice. Almost got his pants pulled down. Williams bouncing. Hollingsworth left all alone. Got it blocked. Late help from Bryce Williams.
Hollingsworth actually should have kicked that out because Justice was open, but Justice just didn't say anything. He didn't bounce for the ball. He didn't wave his hands.
Now about a 20-second difference. Shot clock and game clock. Supica going to work, but finally missing. And Hollingsworth the rebound. The shot clock is off, and Western Kentucky slows it up for one shot.
Have you been ultra impressed with Supica's post moves?
Extremely. I mean, it's not expecting. He's only averaging 5 points a game.
I mean, he's being aggressive, but you need guys like that to step up on the road.
Coming up at halftime, we're going to hear from players about what actually goes on at halftime and how much chicken Mike O'Donnell used to eat at halftime at UCF. We're also going to discuss the potential new transfer rule being pushed by the Big Ten and the ACC. Mike, a transfer, went from NC State to UCF, had to sit out a year. We also have highlights, stats, and analysis of the first half. We'll also check out what's going on around Conference USA as bonus play begins today. That's all coming up at halftime here on Facebook Watch. Well, there's Supica, who now has 2 fouls. He's one of 3 players with 2 fouls. Young and Bamba also have 2. Robb has 3. So the fouls mounting for Charlotte. "22 seconds, and Western Kentucky hopes it's 1 possession and 1 shot for some momentum going into halftime.
You got Hollingsworth in the deep right corner of your screen. Justice is a shooter on the right wing. They're going inside to Williams. ISO.
Missed it. Charlotte's got time. 2 seconds. Shepard at the buzzer. A little bit too much. But the 49ers will take a 6-point lead into the halftime break and hope that this time the lead holds up. A month ago, they came in here, took a 9-point lead on Western Kentucky, ended up getting blown out in the second half. Ashley Holder is with Ron Sanchez, the head coach of the 49ers.
All right, Coach, your team has been attacking the paint. What's been working for you down low?
We're sharing the ball well. I mean, they change defenses so often that it kind of keeps you off balance. I think right now we really are beating ourselves. We made a couple of really bad decisions in transition, giving them a few extra possessions. I think that we just have to keep guarding. I think our defense is what's kept us in the game thus far.
And there was talking about your defense. You caused 7 turnovers. How do you keep the momentum going on that defensive end?
Yeah, we can't cause turnovers and then give it right back to them. We have to take advantage of those opportunities for sure.
All right, Coach, good luck.
Thank you.
And 6 of those 7 Western Kentucky turnovers came in the first 5 minutes of this game. But Ron Sanchez takes a 33-27 lead into the halftime break as Charlotte looks for the upset at Western Kentucky here on CBS Sports Network on Facebook Watch. We are going to be right back after this quick message.
The flat path is easy, but for the inspired, there is a spirit that kindles a desire to climb higher, to soar, to roar, to reach new heights. The wish to be a part of something more, to do more and to be more. Hilltoppers know that life at the top is worth the climb. Climb with us at Western Kentucky University.
Welcome to Niner Nation, a place where students can grow to become explorers, mentors, and leaders. Home to a campus renowned for its scope, prominence, and beauty, and connected to a vibrant community, growing together to build a stronger, brighter, and smarter future. UNC Charlotte. We are all Niners.
We are at halftime in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Hope you've enjoyed the first half. This isn't your usual halftime show, though. We are going to continue our look at the player perspective between Western Kentucky and Charlotte. That's Mike O'Donnell. I'm Chris Hassel. We're going to go to Ashley Holder again in a moment. But when you were playing for either NC State or UCF, what did you do at halftime? Anything in particular?
Well, first, as a point guard, as the captain, your job is to get the team prepared for what the coach might say when he walks into the locker room. Because there's that time, there's about that 3 to 5 minute gap to where you sit down as a team, everybody's grabbing Gatorade, maybe toweling off, checking their shoes, whatever, and then all of a sudden the coach walks in, and it could be either really positive, it could be really negative. So your job as the leader, my job was to get the guys prepared, be like, hey, look, we didn't have a great first half. We got to get locked in. Coach is going to come in hot and fiery. We got to be prepared for that. Or it's we're playing great. We got to stay locked in. Let's really focus on the things that are going well right now. So can I prepare my team, my guys ahead of the time when the coach walks in? Because you have no idea what the head coach is going to say when he walks in.
It's time for us to run the 3-person weave as we bring in Ashley Holder with much more on this player perspective. Ashley?
Yeah, thanks, Chris. I actually had the chance to catch up with both Western Kentucky and Charlotte to get you guys a first-hand look at what their halftime routines as well as their superstitions consist of. Western Kentucky has came back from some phenomenal comebacks when it comes to the halftime performance. It's like when you guys come out of the halftime, you guys just turn it up literally, and it's like a different team. What is being said in that locker room? Because a lot of people don't get to see that.
Yeah, really, it's just winning time. I mean, a lot of times we're down by double digits sometimes, but I mean, just going and winning the game, just being that dog that we talk about all the time and just winning it.
So what are some of the things that Stansbury has said to you guys in the halftime to make those, phenomenal comebacks that you guys have had?
Just coaching adjustments, really. I mean, we like to press, so just getting Josh active at the top of the press and just rotating, get rotations and steals out of it and just getting out in transition, and that's when we play our best.
What about for you just specifically, what do you do to kind of refocus and regain your composure for those last 20 minutes?
I try to mentally reset. The next half is 0-0 to me. So any way that I can, we actually have an actual reset button that we all have to press when we go in. So usually press that and try to reset.
So where did that start from, the reset button?
So at the beginning of the season, we had 2 big wins against Wake Forest and Davidson. And then we went on the road and we lost 2 or 3 games in a row. And that was a big thing for us, and because we kind of got ahead of ourselves. So what we wanted to do is press the reset button. So after every game, we press it, It's a new game. Can't worry about what happened before.
What about superstitions? Is there anything that you do during halftime or maybe on game day that you're like, this routine has to be this way?
I eat some stingers. These little gummy
stingers.
Yeah, they're stinger gummies. Like, I gotta have like a pack. Like, I can't leave any in there either. I don't know what it is.
You eat the entire pack of sugar before.
It's just it's a ball of sugar. That's basically.
Okay, it's a ball of sugar.
They're gummy. They're fruit snacks, but yeah, they gotta be terrible.
So we're talking about pre-shoot around, or are we talking about like pre-game? So halftime. Oh, you're literally eating them at halftime.
Yeah. I need a sugar. I guess it's a sugar rush.
So if you come out and you literally put up about 15, it's from the stingers.
It's from the stingers. That's what it is. It's got to be.
Well, I mean, a ball of sugar should pretty much do it for you.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it's for, right?
Yeah. How did you start doing that superstition?
I like them. I don't know. It's just I think about, after the games, I did these things, so I'm like, I'm going to eat them again if I had a good game, and then like to keep going. Like in high school, I was really struggling as a freshman in high school, I remember. And then I think my dad gave me a Snickers one time at halftime. It was like a big Snickers. And I ate it. I ended up having like having like 25 or something. So every game, my coach used to have a Snickers for me. He's like, I'm going to make sure you have a Snickers. So I guess it stems from that.
Isn't that kind of ironic, because the Snickers commercials now, they change you to a different person when you eat the Snickers bar.
I didn't even think about that.
I didn't want to ask you what you had at halftime of every game, because this guy, he eats about 3 chickens a day. He's already eaten 2. Did you eat an entire chicken at halftime in your career?
No, they could never get it into halftime at the right time. I was a big peppermint guy. I read actually that Olympic sprinters would eat peppermint or drink some type of peppermint liquid before they went out and sprinted. And because I'm so slow, I was like, well, if I can get anything that an Olympic sprinter has, that's a benefit to me. Big peppermint guy at halftime. How about
that's why you smell so good
here
at the half. The peppermint coming from the mouth of Mike O'Donnell. Hey, Mike, a lot like some of the players that we see in this game today, was a transfer in big-time college basketball. You went from NC State to UCF. Now, there is a proposed new transfer rule that might be coming down the pike for the NCAA. The Big Ten first proposed it. The ACC has jumped on board as well. Basically, this new proposed transfer rule, which they're calling the one-time waiver transfer rule, would allow anyone, any first-time transfer, to play right away. So if you start the season at Western Kentucky one year, you play there as a freshman, you could transfer right away to Charlotte and play. What do you think about that?
I'm for the rule because I'm for the exception. What we forget about a lot of times is how insane the recruiting process is. You're really, and I'm not even talking about from a player's perspective. I'm talking about from a parent's perspective. The biggest deal with that is your parent is trusting someone that they don't really know at all, that may have developed a relationship for a month during the summer, maybe a half a year, and then all of a sudden you're trusting your son or daughter with this person from an athletic standpoint, from an education standpoint, from a life standpoint. It's crazy to just be super involved with someone for just one particular month. So I'm for the one-time exception to where I think that you and I are so engulfed in college sports. Not every parent in America is engulfed in college sports like we are. They don't understand the recruiting process, and therefore a lot of times so many things happen that you don't anticipate. You don't really recognize. You don't know which questions to ask if you're a parent or a player, a 17, 18-year-old kid. And then you're promised a lot. You step onto the court, and you don't receive some of those promises, and you're kind of scratching your head like, wait a second, this isn't what I really signed up for. This is not what was sold to me. A lot of times people may assume that might be a quitting type thing. I didn't perceive it that way. I just perceived it as I actually made a mistake for my game, that I didn't really look at what was the best for my game, for my future, and winning basketball games for my team, because you do want to – I was never a selfish player. I wanted to actually win games for my team, but at the same time, was it the right system for me? Ultimately, I'm for this rule. I think it'll be better. I think it'll help athletes more than we anticipate.
And it might not happen before the start of next season, but likely in the next year and a half or so. Now, Western Kentucky has a bunch of transfers on their roster. Jared Savage, Carson Williams, Cameron Justice, all playing all season long, the heart and soul of this team. Then there's Kenny Cooper, who Rick Stansbury was going to rely on this season, and it was going to be a starter. He thought Kenny Cooper was going to be able to come in here from Lipscomb and play because Lipscomb's head coach left. So Kenny Cooper left, but Lipscomb didn't let him out of that, and he is, we're told by Western Kentucky, the only player in the country who transferred after his coach was fired or left that isn't able to play. So this new proposed rule would really help Western Kentucky.
And it's totally ridiculous that Kenny Cooper can't play. If your coach, the coach who recruits you, if he gets fired, if he leaves for another job, you should be able to leave, especially if you only played 1 year or you haven't even played yet. It's ridiculous that Kenny Cooper could not play for Western Kentucky.
He has 1 year of eligibility left. Will be able to play next season. So what do you think? What should be done with the transfer rule? Adopt that new proposal, keep the current rule, or everybody sits a year, no waivers? That would be kind of taking a step back to the olden days. Right now, the rule is that grad transfers can come and play immediately. I would adopt the new proposal. Let's send it over to Ashley Holder, who's having a little fun with filters.
Yeah, guys, it wasn't all about basketball when I talked to the guys yesterday. We actually had the chance to play a few fun filter games on Instagram to see what best fit their personality. Check it out.
What? I'm a female? Man. Boom, Simba. Who is that?
Who is that?
It's about right. It's about right. Better say clutch.
Oh, come on.
Benchmark.
Type of athletes.
Oh my gosh, I always look young.
Hey, come on now, not the facial hair.
Definitely look 38.
Oh, way.
Jared Savage is one of the oldest players on the court in this game, a redshirt senior transfer from Austin Peay, but he doesn't look that old. We've got the second half of this one between the Hilltoppers and the 49ers coming up in mere seconds here on Facebook Watch.
Mental health affects us all, whether you finish first or last.
Whether you win or lose.
The stigma around these issues causes those around us to suffer in silence.
Mental health is nothing to be ashamed of.
You are not alone.
You are not alone. As a student athlete,
As a teammate,
As a friend.
We pledge to continue the conversation.
because it matters.
because you matter.
Stand up to the stigma.
Stand up.
Stand up.
Continue the conversation.
You are not alone.
The excitement of Division I college basketball in the month of March is returning to Ford Center and the Star in Frisco, Texas. Get your tickets now for the 2020 Conference USA Men's and Women's Basketball Championships, presented by Baylor Scott & White Sports Performance Center. 22 basketball games over 4 days in one location, March 11th through March 14th. For tickets, visit your Conference USA team box office or go to conferenceusa.com. You won't want to miss Hoops at the Star.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really fun Conference USA tournament this season. It's based on what we've seen so far today. Western Kentucky trailing Charlotte by 6 at the half. With Mike O'Donnell, I'm Chris Hassel, Ashley Holder along the way as well. We see this here with Western Kentucky, a chance to get into first place, losing by 6 at home to Charlotte. And we already saw North Texas lose at the buzzer to Louisiana Tech in Group 1 play. It's been a fun day so far.
Yeah, welcome to the grind of Conference USA basketball. It just when depending on which team shows up, if you're knocking down shots, you better be able to lock down, play D. And how good was Bracey in that game? Big time game-winning play for Louisiana Tech, beating North Texas at North Texas. Monster win for Eric Conkle.
In that bottom group, Group 3 is pretty interesting this season. Middle Tennessee with a stunning victory against a Southern Miss team that was playing really well. And the Rice Owls are hot. They are up on UTEP by 15 points, and they've been playing well the last couple of weeks. If they get in, they're not going to be an easy out in the Conference USA tournament. Rick Stansbury's been to the championship game the last 2 seasons. He's with our Ashley Holder.
All right, Coach, Charlotte with 26 points in the paint. How do you defend better down low?
Well,
they've done a good job getting that ball to the big guy, and we haven't done a very good job on that ball screen action. We got to be better there.
Tavion Hollingsworth is the only player in double digits with 10 points. How do you get more offense from these other guys?
Well, eventually got to make some shots. We're old afraid in the three-point line, but we missed a bunch of easy shots, and hopefully we can make those easy shots this half.
All right, Coach, good luck.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ashley. He's right. 0 for 8 from three-point range. They're shooting just 32% for the game. The one thing that's helped them stay right in it, though, is at the free throw line. They are 9 of 10, while Charlotte has only attempted 1 free throw. Charlotte got this lead by getting it inside. First forcing turnovers and then getting it into the paint, where they have scored 26 points.
Yeah, got 6 of those points from Bamba, 8 of those points from Supaka. And it seems like anytime it's not just dribble penetration, but the ball screen defense was suspect for Western Kentucky. That's something that they're going to have to figure out in the second half.
Look at the field goal percentage. You'd think this game would be a little bit more in favor of Charlotte than it actually is. Western Kentucky did a good job not turning the ball over the last 15 minutes of the first half and getting to the free throw line. Keep an eye on the Charlotte foul totals as we go into this second half. They have several players who could be in some trouble. Cooper Robb has 3 fouls, 3 others have 2 fouls, and Jared Savage, who's going to inbound to start the second half, had 2 fouls early on in this game. Has not scored tonight, but only played 11 minutes in the first half. Rick Stansbury just trying to protect him with those 2 fouls.
And he is that gutsy three-point shooter, that player for Western Kentucky that can really blow a game wide open.
There he is.
He heard you talking, Mr. Hassel.
I think he heard you, buddy boy. Western Kentucky with its first three-pointer of the game on Savage's first shot of the game. And that's a wild shot inside, but second effort for Malik Martin. And 2 more paint points for the 49ers. Jared Savage, Mike, is 26 for his last 49 from three-point range.
Set play coming out of halftime. We've got to get Jared Savage in rhythm, and then Martin just showing the extra effort for the and one.
It converts the three-point play. Charlotte has led the entire game. In fact, Western Kentucky's largest run in this game, a 4-0 run. They've only been able to put buckets together 1 time. Williams inside, uses the rim as protection and lays it in.
Not often is there bad help side defense in ball screen coverage for the 49ers, but that time was a breakdown, and Western Kentucky took advantage.
Jahmir Young, one of those 49ers with 2 fouls. Bamba also has a couple fouls. Anderson diving right in front of us to try to save it. Unable to do it. 13 on the shot clock as we take another look at Williams getting backdoor.
And it was a really nice job of Western Kentucky being spaced. The spacing got that roll man the shot. And then the hustle by Anderson. Not just an athlete, big time competitor.
He says not a lot of players like defense, but it's something I take pride in. Young missed it. Savage the board. Anderson 1-on-2. Yes! And the foul. And a little flex.
No flex zone, Chris Hassel. That was smooth. Little semi-transition. You could see the athleticism. It's the hang time right here. Up, double clutch, finish with the left. Tough.
And you just get the sense that that run might be coming. Anderson leading the Hilltoppers with 13 points.
You talked about it earlier, Chris Hassel. This is a second half Western Kentucky team as of late.
They've come from 9 down 5 different times in Conference USA play to win. One of them against this Charlotte team a month ago in this building. Anderson has trouble collecting. It's still loose. And somebody had their foot on the end line, and I think it was Anderson, so it's Charlotte ball.
Rawls actually threw that pass too early. If he would have waited half a second, he would have had Anderson on an alley-oop.
Western Kentucky, largest run of the game, 5-0. Young kicks it out and gets it back. Shepard out to Young, an open look, and the lefty is pure.
Look, that pass was fantastic. That was a great driving kick, but I thought Shepard got away with a travel there.
Just when it looks like Western Kentucky was ready to take its first lead of the game, Charlotte gets a stop and an answer. Hollingsworth up and under. Williams unable to tip it in. Young again. Short, and Savage the board. Fans wanted a travel before that three-point attempt.
This is such a smart fan base. I don't know how many fan bases would have identified that as a walk.
Williams. Oh, nice.
I mean this with all due respect. Williams has the greatest YMCA Sunday afternoon game in college basketball. And you know what I'm talking about when I say that.
Fundamentals, and now the trap on Bamba. Williams and Rawls had him cornered, and he forces a turnover. And here comes the crowd.
And it started with defense, Chris. It started with defense for Western Kentucky. And you know who really ignited them from an energy standpoint? Anderson. The dive for the loose ball almost kind of energized this Western Kentucky team and fan base.
Charlotte led by as many as 8. Western Kentucky again missing an opportunity to pull even or take the lead.
That's the second time Rawls has missed Anderson. He's just a little too quick on the trigger to get it to Anderson.
Yeah, it's been a rough game so far for Jordan Rawls. 0 for 3 from the floor and 4 turnovers.
The press is bothering Charlotte right now too. They seem completely out of sync, and that is exactly what the press is designed to do. Not going to steal, but to throw you off rhythm.
Martin. Savage kind of had to give way with those 2 fouls. He didn't want to pick up a third.
You can't. You have to be smart. It's a limited bench. They just do not have enough roster spots. They had to dress a manager for crying out loud today.
Savage gets his way to the hoop.
The Hilltoppers are just crisper in the second half. They're more efficient.
They beat the pressure, but it took 15 seconds for them to get into their offense.
10 on the shot clock.
Suppica may have gotten away with a travel. Shot clock to 4. Suppica gets it back. Bodied up by Anderson. Shot clock violation. And these fans love their defense in Bowling Green.
Manufacturing stop after stop by committing to your defense is exactly what Coach Stansbury wanted in the first half. You're seeing it in the second half right now. The Hilltoppers came to play right out of the gate.
Josh Anderson leads all scorers with 13 points. Some notes on him as we continue our Players Perspective broadcast. Hardest to guard, Javon Jackson, leading scorer in Conference USA and the second leading scorer in the country.
You need an exclamation point after the word athletic. One word to describe game. It needs at least 1 or 2 exclamation marks.
Well, he is using his body in more ways than one on this night. Hitting the floor, effort plays, energy plays. And he has thrown down some of the best dunks this season in Conference USA. This is number 3. I was at that game. Threw that down at UTSA a week ago. How about this one against Old Dominion? That was another one of those double-digit comeback wins for Western Kentucky. But I think this is your winner.
Oh, mercy. Oh, that's dunking on the soul. I couldn't do that on a little Tykes hoop in my backyard. That is vicious.
And that was against North Texas. They were down by 15 points in the second half and came back to beat the Mean Green. Those two will be tied atop the standings if Western Kentucky can pull this one out.
Just had a great all-around game. We highlighted his hustle. He's made some big plays at the rim tonight. Just does so much for this Western Kentucky team. When you're down, when you're not playing great, when you're not shooting great, when you haven't made a three in the game, you've got to have other players step up from an energy standpoint and make that play to get everybody rolling.
Let's check in with Ashley Holder following that timeout.
Yeah, Coach Stansbury showing a little bit more sign of life. He doesn't smile much, but I actually saw him crack a smile in that last huddle. He stressed to his team, Charlotte is tired right now. Just keep getting out and push them in transition. Run them out of the gym is literally what he told his team.
Hey, bucket and a foul on the baseline jab from Jordan Shepard. They just keep coming at you, and that's 3 on Jared Savage. Wow.
Well, that play was made because Shepard turned down a contested 3 and a monster block by Hollingsworth, the point guard. He turns down a contested 3, a little old school give and go action, strong to the rim. That's one thing that Charlotte does really well. They're wonderfully unselfish, and when they pass, you move. After every pass, there's movement, and there's not just false movement. Most of the time, there's movement towards the rim. That's why they have so many points in the paint tonight.
Savage picking up his 3rd foul, all 5 of his points coming here in the second half. And he's a guy that really was playing 40 minutes a game of late for Western Kentucky, but only played 11 minutes in that first half because of the 2 fouls. Anderson.
Oh, man.
Still fighting. Williams. Oh, there he is, the outside dogs coming at you.
Just absolutely relentless. Carson Williams has a relentless pursuit of the basketball around the rim. Great offensive rebounders are never touched. What I mean by that is they avoid contact going towards the rim. When a shot goes up, swim move, spin move, try to fake one way, go the other way. That's what great offensive rebounders does. That's what Carson Williams does.
And he describes himself in one word as gritty. That's pretty good.
That'll do it. You can add an exclamation point to that one, too.
Doesn't get the bounce. Charlotte 5-point lead. Under 15 minutes to play. They have led the whole way. 10 seconds.
You don't see that very often in college basketball. There's a really great job of kind of pushing Rob into the corner, the coffin corner of that press. Watch the patience, especially watch Josh Anderson wait. Length is a big deal. Oh, and then a steal by Rob.
And he gets fouled at the rim. Boy, these opportunistic Charlotte 49ers. That's the second time they've done that tonight. Off an inbounds pass.
Yeah, and Cooper Robb he's been doing that all season. He's 4th in Conference USA in steals per game. This is what he does. He reads the eyes, the offensive player. Quick little fast twitch fibers. Attacks the rim.
Misses the first free throw. 72% on the season. One of 3 Charlotte 49ers in the top 7 in the conference in steals per game. He's picking up Rawls full court.
Mental awareness, anticipation, extra effort. That's what gets you steals in the half court.
They've quieted this crowd for the time being. They're just waiting to erupt, waiting to pull even or grab the lead. They haven't even pulled even since it was 0-0.
There's a lot of resiliency in this Charlotte. When you play the pack line defense, it's so hard to come back against that defense because there's even rhythm in defense. And when you feel good defensively, you're going to commit to that feeling.
Almost threw it away. Savage, a deep 3, partially blocked.
Shooter.
Rob passes it up in the corner. They'll get into the offense. Suppica got slapped by Anderson, who went for the steal. These are the results of our Facebook poll. What should be done with the transfer rule? 71% want this new rule. Do you think it gets done for next season?
No, because I just think the NCAA has got a lot of things to figure out before they make a decision on the NCAA, the transfer rule, particularly the name, image, and likeness conversations going on throughout college athletics. I do feel that in the next 3 years, we'll see that rule go into effect.
And that rule being one-time transfers can be eligible to play right away and not have to sit out a season. Second chance, no. And they won't get a third chance as Hollingsworth runs out of there with it. Want to remind you, if you're watching on your mobile device, you can turn off the comments by swiping right. Justice missed that. He's still 0 for 6 in this game. Charlotte taking a little bit of air out of the ball. Shepard, got lucky. That one was kicked, or else it would have been a steal.
Shepard has such great vision, especially out of the ball screen. You can see why he's closing in on 100 assists for the season. He's really good at this pocket pass. I mean, without that kick, that's going right through the teeth of the defense.
Some more condensation on the court. Mop Dude getting a workout this evening.
He went towel.
Yeah, that time didn't need the mop.
Yeah,
he's partial to the towel.
He's adaptable. I respect that.
Williams pokes that out of bounds, so he kicked it out. Now he pokes it out. Making it tough on these 49ers as they bring Bamba back out on the court, replacing Suppica.
Just so patient in the half court. They're committed to running their offense. It's just exhausting to guard.
Bamba. Oh, yes.
I mean, think about playing, even if Charlotte isn't as talented, I think is where Coach Sanchez wants them to be. Think about how exhausting it is to play them every single game. They're going to work you defensively with the pack line defense. They're going to make you guard for 30 seconds of the shot clock. I mean, there are no easy wins against the Charlotte 49ers.
Williams spinning, left hand, got the roll.
Carson Williams plays like Mark Madsen, the Stanford Cardinal great.
It's a good comparison.
Mean, gritty, fundamental.
He's got 13 points on 5 of 8 shooting. Tried to go backdoor. Hollingsworth the steal. Does not have numbers. Gets bumped.
So smart. So savvy.
That's 3 fouls on Bamba, who just checked back into this game as we hit the under 12 timeout. Charlotte still in front. 5-point lead for the 49ers against the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. We continue our player perspective broadcast.
All right, so we're getting ready for a baseline out of bounds. Mike, your team has the ball. You're getting ready inbound. What's going through your mind?
One thing I see a lot of players do is, especially point guards who are taking the ball out of bounds, they go right to the ball, handing it from the referee. And that's a no-no. You want to make sure your team is set up, because if you want to be efficient on offense, you got to make sure your players are set up to run the baseline out of bounds play. One trick I used to do all the time, I literally, before I would even look at the ball from the referee, I would bend down and I would come right down on the floor like this, and I would would fake tie my shoe. Because when I would fake tie my shoe, the referee had to stop play. He couldn't give me the ball. By rule, you have to wait for the shoelace to actually be done. So then as I would rise up, I would take the ball, and I'm looking down, and I see make sure every single guy on my team is set up properly for an efficient baseline out of bounds play. I couldn't dunk, Chris, but you better believe I could fake tie my shoes better than everybody else.
The old trickster, Mike O'Donnell. There's Jordan Shepherd getting ready for an inbound moments ago, and well, he got a little extra time because did he point out that spot on the floor?
You know what? I probably should have done that more and would have saved me a little bit of extra effort of having to bend down every time and fake tie my shoe. If I would have just, hey, there's a wet spot on the court, I could have relaxed a little bit more.
Well, the young guys,
heady play by Shepherd.
Add that to the repertoire. Because you can't tie your shoe every time, or else if you see the same officials, they'll catch on.
I did, and they did. And by my senior year, those same officials would just ask me, "Hey, would you like a little extra time, Mike?" And I said, "Absolutely, I would like another 2 seconds to allow my guys to get set up."
By the end of it, they were wishing you were wearing Velcro shoes out there.
There you go. Who says I don't have a couple pairs of those?
Well, Rick Stansbury's team has made a living this season winning these types of games. Close games, games in which they've trailed, sometimes by double digits, sometimes throughout, and they've trailed this one all the way by as many as 8.
And the free throw line is the great equalizer. They're 11 of 13. We'll see what Hollingsworth does here. Right, 12 of 14 from the free throw line. They are outstanding free throw shooters, and when you're trying to climb back from a deficit, you stop the clock, manufacture points on the free throw line, you get a rest for a limited roster, and you get to set up your press efficiently.
Substitution for Charlotte as Jameer Young comes back in, has 10 points to lead Charlotte's balanced scoring, and Martin takes a seat on the bench. One more for Tavion Hollingsworth. 11th point of the game.
It's a quiet 11 points, Chris. I think Charlotte's done a really nice job against Hollingsworth, particularly in ball screen defense.
Especially considering he had 30 in the first matchup. Shot clock under 10. Rob will shoot it. Hollingsworth the board. Anderson off the dribble, baseline, stumbling, keeps his feet. Justice now 0 for 7.
And that came off his hand a little shaky. There was some side spin on the release of the basketball. Another great pass.
Great pass and a fantastic one-handed catch by Supaka.
Vision. Fantastic vision. How hard is it to find a gap in this defense?
Savage has been Mr. Big Shot for Western Kentucky this season, but that one goes begging. Shepherd, no, but a foul. Watch this pass and catch.
7 assists, 0 turnovers for Shepherd, and a dime of a pass by the junior. I mean, that is, first of all, can we give a little credit to Supaka for catching that? Because that was a rifle shot.
Hey, I was giving him credit. That free throw way short from Shepherd, and there's Jared Savage, who thought he was going to be heading to the bench because that was his 4th foul, and indeed there he goes. Frustrating night for Jared Savage, just hasn't been able to stay on the floor. He's used to playing the entire game. I mentioned earlier he played all 45 minutes of the overtime win a week ago in San Antonio.
Go back to the conversation that Ashley had with Coach Stansbury. We just have no margin for error. We don't have a choice. We can't have guys in foul trouble, especially when you're talking about a player like Savage, who has been shooting lights out from 3 as of late.
Well, a golden opportunity for Western Kentucky as Rob almost steals it. With North Texas losing earlier tonight to Louisiana Tech, they can pull even with the Mean Green atop the standings with 3 games to go. Now Western Kentucky, being the 2 seed in Group 1, has to go to North Texas in group play. Hollingsworth gets it stripped away. And Cooper Robb wasn't able to save it for Charlotte, so 7 on the shot clock, and here's that baseline underneath. Rawls to trigger. Justice will take it and finally make it. He's now 1 for 8.
That's big. Sometimes all a shooter needs is for one of those to go down. And with 9:50 left to play, there's so much ball left for Justice to get hot.
Ten to shoot. Supika takes a look up at the shot clock. Shepard. Williams blocked it. Supika, right place, right time. Heady play with the shot clock dwindling.
How great of a game has Supika had for Charlotte?
Now he has 12 points and 5 rebounds.
He only averages 5 points a game. Playing like a beast on the road. Nice pass.
Robb reaches in and commits his 4th foul. Cameron Justice was 0 for 7 from the floor and 0 for 5 from 3-point range until this.
Robb did a really poor job on the closeout. Even though he's 0 for 7, you got to close out harder than that. No box out when the shot goes up. That's Hollingsworth needs to get in there, put a body on Supika.
Justice cutting. 5 quick points for number 5. It is back to a 3-point game. Fans trying to will Western Kentucky to another comeback victory. Shepard high. Another putback bucket from Milos Supika. 14 now. And he leads all scorers.
Two Charlotte defenders closed out with high hands on Justice. They did not want him getting another 3 look. I'd love to see some action for Justice run here.
Hollingsworth. And Young clears the rebound for Charlotte, coming up on 8 minutes to play. Supika again. Got it stripped, went off his feet, and out of bounds to Western Kentucky. With 7:59 to play, the Hilltoppers trying to climb that mountain, down by as many as 8. They haven't even so much as tied this game since the opening tip. Supika got that one stripped off his knee. He's calling for the foul, but instead it's out of bounds to Western Kentucky. Got a lot more Conference USA games coming up on CBS Sports Network. We'll be here Thursday as Western Kentucky welcomes in Louisiana Tech. That'll either be a matchup between first place and third place, or the 2 teams tied for second place, as Louisiana Tech beat North Texas earlier tonight. And next Sunday, we're at North Texas as Western Kentucky makes the trip to Denton. Those 2 teams matched up here, and North Texas, led by 15, blew that lead, and Western Kentucky got the victory. We have the semifinals coming up on the men's side on CBS Sports Network, and we also have the men's and women's championship of the Conference USA tournament. Western Kentucky a chance to tie North Texas at 12-3. Louisiana Tech right there, winners of 3 straight. And Charlotte with FIU idle in this first match day, so to speak, of group play. Charlotte will either be alone in 4th with a win or alone in 5th with a loss. The top 4 teams in Conference USA get a bye, so the team that finishes last in Group 1 is going to have to play and try to win 4 games in 4 days in Frisco, Texas. Milos Supika, one off his season high of 15 points, which he had against UNC Wilmington in a win, has been fantastic in the paint, defending the hoop, just headsy play, putting himself in the right place at the right time, and knowing how much time is left on the shot clock. The awareness off the charts, 14 points and 6 rebounds. Ashley Holder listening in to one of the huddles. Ashley, what'd you hear?
Yeah, Coach Stansbury really stressing, keep moving, not really with speed, but move around and keep Charlotte moving around to tire them out. He also said attack the paint, and he said that they've had 3 putbacks as we've seen these last 3 trips, so you have to hit the boards. You can't give them easy rebounds and allow them to get putbacks.
Yeah, Supika has a couple of those putback buckets with the shot clock winding down. Mike, you were also able to listen in on a huddle.
Yeah, Coach Sanchez was really frustrated with his team in the half court defensively. He felt that they weren't closing out hard enough. They weren't getting the shooters. They weren't efficient enough defensively in their pack line defense. He kept saying, no excuses, guys. This is crunch time. No excuses. We have to be more locked in defensively, closing out on shooters. You know specifically he was talking about does not want to get Cameron Justice in a rhythm.
And Ron Sanchez having a great second season at Charlotte. 14-11. They've already equaled their win total from the previous 2 seasons combined, but that is a costly turnover after the free throws.
The length of Josh Anderson in that 3-quarter court really has bothered Charlotte. That's about the 3rd time that's really bothered Charlotte. If I was Coach Stansbury, I'd like to see that 3-quarter court defense a little bit more here with 7:30 left.
14th turnover forced by Western Kentucky. That one kicked, so shot clock resets to 20, Mike.
Justice missed Hollingsworth wide open on the baseline.
Jared Savage remains on the bench for Western Kentucky with 4 fouls. Supika, the MVP of this game for Charlotte, takes a seat as you see Savage. Justice dribbled that off the foot of Drew Edwards.
Oh, I think you let that go, Chris. I think you let that rhythm 3, right foot, left foot go. I would have shot it.
Yeah, he's made his last 2 buckets after starting 0 for 7. Justice has made his last 2, a 3 and a lay-in.
Shooters don't trust their gut, they trust their rhythm. And it looked like that Justice was in rhythm on that shot.
Gets to the hoop, bucket and the foul. Justice has a chance to tie it at the line.
And right here, that right left, it looked like he was in enough rhythm to let that go. Gets the ball back, a quick little hezzy look away, froze the defense, specifically the gap help. Finished with the layup. You got to remember, Justice was a big-time scorer. He was Kentucky Mr. Basketball, Gatorade Player of the Year, 3rd in Kentucky high school history in career points. He scored over 3,500 points in high school.
This is our first tie of the game. Western Kentucky has never led. 10 to shoot. Charlotte has had an answer for everything. 2 to shoot. Young.
Whoa! That's the second at the shot clock buzzer shot that Young has made in this game. What a game.
He's 3 for 4 from deep, and 2 of them were desperation heaves. Bamba bodies up on Hollingsworth and commits the foul. That's his 4th. So 2 Charlotte players with 4 fouls. Take another look. Young.
That's a hope, prayer, and heave. You're not making that shot when you're playing horse in the backyard. I mean, that's just desperation. That was great defense by the Hilltoppers.
And just gasps from this great crowd here at Diddle Arena in Bowling Green. Western Kentucky continues to win the free throw battle. 17 for 19 at the line. They're plus 12 at the line in this game. Charlotte has made 5 of 7.
Charlotte's offense is better when Supica's in the game. I think he has been so efficient offensively, orchestrating the offense at the top of the key, and then underneath, his offensive rebounding and his one-on-one post play has been terrific.
He has 14 to lead the 49ers and only has 2 fouls. A couple of others in major foul trouble. Rob has 4. Edwards has 4. Bamba with 3. And we told you Western Kentucky continuing to rest Jared Savage on the bench with 4 fouls.
Here's that three-quarter court that's given Charlotte a lot of trouble. You've got to attack the gaps. That's a better job.
Supica wants it inside, guarded by Anderson in that zone, and Anderson is called for the foul, the 6th on Western Kentucky, so no shots yet. But the next one puts him in the bonus.
Only 2, that's only Anderson's 2nd foul. Yeah, I would probably agree. There's a lot of contact. They missed the first hold on Anderson. They got him with the second one.
Fans are booing because they told Rick Stansbury to take a couple steps back into the coach's box. Martin, yes!
Dagger. An absolute dagger from Malik Martin, the sophomore.
Williams on Supica. 2-point game. And a chance to set up that pressure if they want to, but interestingly, they back off. And they'll get into the half court.
A little surprised we didn't see some of that three-quarter court pressure.
Savage at the scorer's table, ready to check in at the next dead ball. Supica rolls. Edwards wanted to find him. Martin in and out. Supica the board, but they call him over the back.
Probably okay if you let that one go. I didn't think there was enough contact to warrant an offensive foul on Supica.
I'm with you from our vantage point. Let's take a look at the replay. I thought it was a clean rebound. Let's see if Supica pushes off at all. He does put the shoulder into the back, but he went straight up and got it.
If he's getting called for a foul, it's that push in the back like you alluded to, but when the ball hit the rim, Supica's jumping straight up to grab that board.
Williams misses the front end of the 1-and-1. 5 minutes to go.
Missed Supica wide open.
Almost a turnover. Young open. Supica the board again.
If you can rebound out of it, this extended zone for Western Kentucky, they're now in man, has proved to be pretty effective in frustrating the 49ers.
Young, high archer, hit the side of the backboard, and here comes Anderson. Savage is back in with those 4 fouls. Hollingsworth. Yes! And Western Kentucky leads for the first time tonight.
Tavion Hollingsworth, ice cold from the corner. Woo. What a game.
Let's see how this young Charlotte team responds to trailing for the first time in this game. Western's got the ball in the lead with under 3.5 to go. Williams in the post, tripped up, and he'll have a 1-and-1 on the other side of this timeout. Fourth foul on Milos Supica. Tavion Hollingsworth, big three, big moment, and he's actually lucky he kicked that leg out. If the officials would have seen that, that would have been an offensive foul.
There's no question. An excellent point by you. That clearly was a kick out by Hollingsworth with his right leg. Could have been an offensive foul and no bucket.
Well, Hollingsworth, the last meeting, went for 30 points. He was 13 of 13 from the line. He's 7 of 7 from the line in this meeting, 16 points. So that answers one of our first poll questions of the night. Will the 49ers hold him under his season average of 15 points? And he shows up late when they need him the most.
But it has been balanced scoring for Western Kentucky. Anderson's got 13. Hollingsworth has 16. Williams got 17. Justice got 10. And they've really started to play. It almost feels like they are having fun in the second half. They were sharing the ball more. They were engaging in attack mode. I'm telling you, though, that three-quarter court defense really ignited an offensive explosion for Western Kentucky in the second half here.
To your point on sharing the ball more, they had 2 assists in the first half. In the second half, 8 assists on 11 baskets.
And got a lot of those in transition, too, and off turnovers from that press.
So Western Kentucky leads it for the first time tonight, 61-60. The building is rocking. These fans know that this is what this team does. They just gut out victories, and they have a chance to climb into first place if they can get this done tonight.
Listen, this is awesome. I can feel my chair vibrating right now. I mean, this atmosphere is insane. I love it. This is what we love about college basketball. Western Kentucky climbing back down. It felt like they had no rhythm, no energy. Second half, different team. Really excited to see if Charlotte, the young 49ers, are able to take in some of this energy from Western Kentucky and be a little bit more efficient in the half court offensively.
I want to remind you that you can get rid of the comments by swiping right if you're watching on a mobile device. 1-and-1 for Williams. This time he gets the home roll. If you're just joining us, Charlotte had led the whole way. They forced 6 turnovers in the first 5 minutes of the game. Western Kentucky spent the rest of this game just trying to get over the hump. They finally got there, but do they have the push in the final 3 minutes? Charlotte hasn't scored in 3 minutes. Until now. Big bucket from Shepherd.
He just keeps making big play after big play. I absolutely love Jordan Shepherd's game.
Ten to shoot. Hollingsworth skipping along. Savage has 4 fouls. He's been there late in the shot clock guy. Brick that, and a strong rebound leading to a fast break. Martin the bucket, and the 49ers are back on top.
I mean, this is fun, partner. I mean, how fun is this game? Back and forth, just each team throwing haymakers at each other.
A win would move Western Kentucky into a tie for first. A win would move Charlotte into fourth place by themselves as they try to crack the top 4 before the tournament and get a bye. That one kicked by Charlotte. There was only 2 on the shot clock, so it resets to 20.
We talked about it earlier. I mean, Charlotte fighting for 4th place in conference. They were picked 12th in the preseason poll. Players committed to a certain style of play. Coach Sanchez has them running great this season.
They lost John Davis, who had 2,000 career points, won just 8 games last year. 6 games the season before. An incredible coaching job by Ron Sanchez in his 2nd season coming over from Virginia. We were wondering how this young Charlotte team would respond after trailing for the first time in this game. Well, this is how they respond, by retaking the lead.
Where you get a really good rebound, and then Sheppard, with the eyes always looking forward, pass ahead. Sheppard has 9 assists in this game, has been just the perfect facilitator for the Charlotte 49ers offense.
11 points, 3 rebounds, 9 assists, 0 turnovers.
Are you kidding me with that efficiency? That is awesome.
All right, if you're Ron Sanchez, you've got a 2-point lead in, let's face it, biggest conference game that Charlotte's played in a long time. This would be by far their biggest conference win of the season. What are you saying to your team with 1:45 to go?
Well, offensively first, I think you stick to what's worked, and what's worked is late in the shot clock, ball screen action, but the balls has to be in the hands of Jordan Sheppard. He's your playmaker. He's made every single right play so far tonight for the 49ers. The ball must be in his hands. Run your continuity, get in the ball screen action, let Jordan Sheppard operate. Defensively, you've got to lock up man-to-man, one-on-one, because Western Kentucky is attacking the rim. They want to be at the free throw line. You have to play hard without fouling.
Charlotte's been so bad that they haven't even made the Conference USA tournament the last 2 seasons. Now to be playing for a bye is remarkable. Mike mentioned picked 12th out of 14 teams, only ahead of Rice and Southern Miss.
This team's getting a little bit better as the season progresses. Coach Sanchez says, hey, there's no elevators to the top. We got to take the stairs.
But it's been an uphill climb for Western Kentucky in this one, trailing for virtually the entire way. Anderson! One-hand sledgehammer!
Good gosh almighty! Oh, man! Monster dunk!
And Charlotte wants a timeout. We are tied at 64. We showed you his 3 best dunks of the season so far. We were thinking he would get one tonight. It took a while, but he comes through.
His first dunk of the game was just okay. Standing. Woo! Ain't nobody wanted a piece of that coming down the lane. Mr. Hassel.
He's the best dunker I've seen in college basketball this season.
He takes off from behind the restricted circle like it's nothing, like it's normal.
He was a consensus 4-star recruit, top 60 player. Just incredible athleticism.
And he replaced Bassey in the starting lineup when Bassey went down for the injury. And they've been able to play more freely. And you've seen increased offensive production from Anderson. And he's kind of taken the lead defensively as well for Western Kentucky, because Bassey, one of the top shot blockers in the country. You lose that, you've got to have another guy step up.
1:20 to go, tied at 64 in this first game of group play. Charlotte's back on top. 3 from Drew Edwards.
How many big shots has the backcourt of Charlotte made in this game?
Under a minute to go. Savage ties it up.
They're paying us to be here right now. They're paying us to be here right now. This is awesome basketball. That was really great extra pass by Western Kentucky. First 3-pointer by Edwards, locked, loaded, good grip and rip. Then on the other end, Williams' kick, Rawls turns down a good shot to get a great shot from your best 3-point shooter.
All 8 of Jared Savage's points have come in the second half. He's played this entire game in foul trouble, picked up 2 quick ones. He's playing with 4 as we revisit Mike's keys to the game.
Charlotte's done an outstanding job on the boards. Their +10 rebounding margin in the half court. Really defensively, Western Kentucky has done, I would say, okay job guarding the half court for Charlotte. 11 fast break points. That would say that's decent, not exactly where I think Charlotte would like to be around 15 to 16 fast break points. But they've been able to knock down some big, big threes here in the second half to stay in this game.
There you see Charles Bassey. You see he's feeling a lot better. Off crutches, made his first road trip with the team last week to Texas. Starting to get some shots up. He's had season-ending surgery back on December the 10th to repair that tibial fracture in his leg. We're thinking 6 to 9 month recovery, and not sure yet if he's going to be able to enter the NBA potentially, or will have to come back for another season at Western Kentucky. We know what all these Western Kentucky fans would want.
No doubt. If he comes back, you've got Bassey, Hollingsworth, Anderson, Rawls, Williams, all back. That's a loaded.
You didn't even mention Kenny Cooper.
Kenny Cooper.
Edwards curls it in.
How about that offensive execution? The second dagger by Drew Edwards, the senior. Leadership buckets.
And Western does not get a 2-for-1, so if they don't tie it, they're likely going to have to foul. Savage to Rawls. Shot clock to 10. They're looking for a 3. Savage will take it. He got it! Same spot, same result. We're tied again. And Charlotte, with a shot clock off, calls timeout with 11 seconds to go.
Can you feel the intensity in the air right now, Chris Hassel? This is awesome basketball. First, fantastic execution. Get it to your senior shooter. Knock down a 3, Drew Edwards. And then they find the best shooter on the floor, Jared Savage, from one senior to another. I'll trade you 3s.
All right, shot clock's off, 11 seconds to go. Charlotte has it in the front court. Take me into both huddles.
You've got, so for Charlotte, offensively, your 2 shooters right now are Drew Edwards and Malik Martin. So I think what you do is you look for, you're going to take it down to about 7-8 seconds. You're going to look for an initial bucket. If not, it's Jordan Shepherd time. When he's downhill, coming off a ball screen, he's almost impossible to stop. If you're Western Kentucky, you find your shooters. Ball screen coverage will be a huge key, I think, in this possession. If I was Western Kentucky, I want the ball out of Jordan Shepherd's hands in the ball screen, which means you may even see a double team if there's a ball screen by Charlotte.
A foul would send Charlotte to the line for a 1-and-1 if it's not in the act of shooting.
Your best free throw shooter for Charlotte is 78%, Drew Edwards. Shepherd's at 72, Jameer Young is 73. So you've got capable free throw shooters on the floor. Wouldn't rule out a post-up ISO for Supaka either. Here we go.
5 seconds. Shepherd, high, got it with 2 seconds left. Hollingsworth, half court for the win. Almost, but Charlotte comes into Diddle and stuns the Hilltoppers.
When Jordan Shepherd's going downhill, you can't stop him. An excellent play call. It was essentially an ISO on the right side of the floor for Jordan Shepherd. You get him downhill, the high arcing shot off the backboard. Are you kidding me with that play? The junior, Jordan Shepherd. Wow. Look at all the space that Jordan has to operate. And then the touch at the very top of the backboard. You've got 2 defenders flying for the block. Whew. Pretty stuff.
And a signature CUSA win for Ron Sanchez in his second season. Had a couple of great non-conference victories. Beat Wake Forest, beat Davidson, won at UNC Wilmington, beat Valpo. But this is by far the biggest Conference USA statement for this upstart 49ers program. 72-70. They lead nearly wire to wire and keep Western Kentucky from first place. You see Jordan Shepard standing by with our Ashley Holder, who is also with head coach Ron Sanchez. Ashley?
Ready? All right, Coach, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
You snap a 2-game losing streak. You do it in a very hostile environment on a crazy game. How do you feel right now?
Oh, we feel good. You know, being on a 2-game losing streak is really hard. This is one of the best venues in our conference. So much respect for this team and this coach. I think the kids just laid it on the line, both teams. Thankful for the win. You know, we have to grow up. We made some mistakes down the stretch, but I'm just glad that we can learn with a victory.
It seemed like your defense was serious in that second half. It seemed like Western couldn't get in a gap and get a shot up. What can you say about your defense?
No, it's growing. You know, they're getting better. I credit these kids for battling and, you know, really buying into us being decent defensively. We got to know that our defense has to travel. This is one of our first, you know, wins on the road in a while. You know, so this is it's a compliment to them for their effort.
What about this guy right here, Jordan Shepard? You were talking to me about him earlier. You said he's got to be accountable. He's learning to take that accountability. Did he live up to that task tonight?
He did today. I mean, the assist for the shot, then the last play, he made the play there. Those are all credit to him, to his leadership and how he's growing as a player. His ceiling is really high. We're looking forward to watching him continue to grow. He's nowhere near where he needs to be, but he's definitely walking in the right direction.
All right, congratulations, Coach. Enjoy this one.
Thank you so much.
All right, we're going to bring in Jordan Shepard now. A huge last second shot. What was going through your mind when you let that one go?
The player was drawn up for me, but I wouldn't be able to get that. Was it for my teammates? If Drew didn't hit that shot right there in the corner, that big shot, that wouldn't have opened up for me, man. So it's just my teammates.
And you talk about your teammates. What can you say about them coming into this hostile environment and getting this big-time win?
I got some dogs with me, man. We've been through a lot this season, especially on the road. We were able to come in here against the top team or one of the top teams in our conference and get a win. It's big, man. They came out here to play today.
How do the Dogs continue this one and get that momentum going towards FIU?
Same thing we did tonight. Our identity is defense, and we did that tonight, so we just got to stick to that.
All right, congratulations. Enjoy this one.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, Chris?
Wow, they were 2-10 on the road, were the Charlotte 49ers. They had lost 6 straight road games. They come in here to the toughest environment in Conference USA against the toughest team and keep them from jumping into a tie for first place.
I'm just sad that this game is over.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Overtime too.
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, think about the resiliency of this Charlotte team. This is a young team. This is a team that's still learning how to play pack line defense, still learning the offense that Coach Sanchez wants them to play in, to draw up a play for your leader, your junior, and making play after play after play. And we talked about how great he was from a point guard perspective, 10 assists, 0 turnovers tonight. To call a play for him to go downhill, isolation, he's exactly right. If Edwards didn't hit that 3 in the corner, Western Kentucky was really spread out on the three-point line. They were worried about the shooters, an open lane, and then that feathery touch around the rim. What an awesome game.
How about the fact that Western Kentucky was trailing the whole game, finally caught Charlotte, grabbed the lead with 3 minutes to go, and this young team doesn't buckle. They retake the lead right away and never trail again.
Yeah, it looked like that Western Kentucky was going to go on a run, really with that three-quarter court press. Really frustrated Charlotte. You know, I think was a big key. Number one was Hollingsworth wasn't as effective tonight, and Savage spent a lot of time on the bench because of foul trouble. When you're trying to climb back and you don't have your three-point shooter, you have to remember Western Kentucky is not a great three-point shooting team, and when your best three-point shooter is on the bench for an extended period of time in the second half, it's hard to climb back and continue a rhythm offensively.
Now, Savage only played 26 minutes in this game because of foul trouble. He hit 2 huge threes down the stretch, but it was not enough to overcome what was an 8-point deficit in the first half. And Charlotte ekes it out by 2 thanks to Jordan Shepard in the closing seconds, high off the square.
All kinds of toughness. You combine toughness with skill, and that's Jordan Shepard. I mean, just a play that he's going to go back to over and over and over again. Is this the grow-up play for George Shepard.
There's some critics of the bonus play in Conference USA. What a start to bonus play we had today. Louisiana Tech winning at North Texas on a buzzer beater. Charlotte winning at Western Kentucky in the final 2 seconds. And now, Mike, we've got 3 teams within 1 game of each other with 3 games to go, and everybody plays everybody in this top pot.
Yeah, no question. I think you and I have Western Kentucky at FIU here in about a week or so, and Western Kentucky lost to FIU earlier in the season. FIU plays fast, aggressive. That's going to be exhausting to watch. Can't wait for bonus play to continue.
And Charlotte now alone in 4th place. The top 4 get a bye in the Conference USA tournament. For Mike O'Donnell, Ashley Holder, and our entire CBS Sports Network crew, I'm Chris Hassel. Our next CUSA game is Wednesday, March 4th. North Texas taking on Charlotte. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network on Facebook Watch. Hope you enjoyed it.